Hot Springs Village Inside Out is a closer look at the largest gated community in North America, spanning 26,000 acres in the Ouachita Mountains in south central Arkansas. Join me, Randy Cantrell, and some occasional guests as we explore Hot Springs Village Inside Out. McGraw Realtors, located in the heart of Hot Springs Village, is the fastest growing real estate office with over 30 agents and staff. Executive brokers Lori and Ken Henderson, along with realtor and waterfront specialist Rick Marshall, they're eager to share the special features of Hot Springs Village with you. For a complimentary relocation packet, call Ken and Lori at 501-276-3018 or call Rick Marshall at 501-601-RICK. They are McGraw Realtors of Hot Springs Village. Renaissance Homes builds spec homes ready for sale and custom homes. Brandon Tedder and his team make the process easy. Renaissance Homes incorporates solid construction methods from the ground up. Brandon is a certified green builder. With a fixed price approach, detailed spec sheet, you'll know upfront how much it will cost. Every job has a dedicated project manager and an in-house design expert. From permitting to landscaping, Renaissance Homes is the preferred builder, headquartered right here inside Hot Springs Village.
Okay, well, Randy, we're here at a new listing that's coming on the market, but we're gonna give our viewers the monthly sales update, the real estate market update for September of 2025, and it was actually a pretty surprising month. We had a lot of activity. Our sales were actually up 24.5% over August, so we went from 53 sales in August to 66 sales in September. That's up, like I said, 24.5%. That's a nice active month. But it's kind of an interesting month too, because we had a lot of price reductions. So sellers have had to kind of juice the market a little bit to get those sales. And I put these four numbers on here for a reason to kind of show you the trends. So if you look at the number of sellers back in June that had price reductions, at least one price reduction on their home, 34.9% had at least one price reduction. Some multiple price reductions, but at least one. In July, that went up to 39.6. In August, it was 42.8. And then last month, it continued up at 45.2%. So a 4-month trend from 34 up to 45% of all properties currently on the market have had at least one price reduction. So what that's kind of telling you is, and I kind of expected the sold price in comparison to listing, the ask price, to have dropped a little more than it did. It was still 97.6%, which we were running 99 plus for quite a while. So you say, well, what's the big deal about 2%? Well, 2% on a $600,000 house is 12 grand. So it does add up. But I was noticing as I was running the numbers, there were quite a few. I used the median, half higher and half lower, and boy, there were some that, $50,000 price reductions, $30,000 price reductions was pretty common. So even though that we were only, down to 97.6, it has softened a little bit. Sellers are having to be a little less aggressive on their pricing, not testing the waters out aggressively like they have in the past maybe. Just being competitive, having the home staged properly. But the other real common thing, and I've mentioned this before, it really is continuing, is sellers who have homes that are dated, if they have not been updated. They've got a lot of carpeting, Formica counters, the older 80s oak in the kitchen. Those are the ones we're seeing the biggest price reductions, the longer time on market. Time on market actually shrank last month with the additional sales. So still a healthy market, really healthy market, but we're just feeling that things are a little bit different in the market when it comes to softening. And I think it's a little bit like the stock market right now. We got half the people thinking that we're in a bubble and it's about to pop, and the other people think we're going much higher. Well, I think the real estate market is kind of something similar to that, where we're not exactly sure. We're in bubble numbers too, historically, but the demand is still there, and at least in our market, micro versus macro, we're doing fine. There are some nationwide numbers that look really soft, and certainly some markets, the Austin, Texas's, and I mean they're off 15%, down. We're not seeing that at all, but we also didn't see the craziness of what they saw during COVID to that degree either. So a little more of a moderated market here, I think a healthier market, and we're still a destination location where a lot of people are wanting to flee to from some of those other states, or are wanting to come here. They're still bringing cash because they're getting more value for their money. So overall, really good month last month. Just some beginnings of question marks as far as where we may be headed. We're still not quite sure, and it's a month-to-month thing.
Is the pricing, or are sellers overly optimistic? Well, I know sellers tend to be overly optimistic, or hopeful, I should say.
Sure.
But is it, is it that? Is it uncertainty about quite not sure what the market might bear as far as these price decreases? I mean, have you seen any kind of pattern emerge?
Not too much. I mean, sellers always, you get a lot of sellers that say, well, I don't have to sell, right? You hear that all the time. And you get buyers that are overconfident on the other side. Well, I don't have to buy. Generally, though, they come to a meeting of the minds. And I think overall, sellers have a motivation to sell. There's a reason that they're talking to me at that point. It's just a matter of, I do my best to educate them on exactly where we're at, but do I see no real unusual trend in that regard?
All right, tell us where we're at, and I want to have a conversation about off-market and people being able to kind of get a jump on something, because you and I both, we have considerable conversations about, well, why should I work with a realtor? And this is a perfect illustration of why you probably want to call somebody you want to call Rick. You don't want to call somebody like Rick. You want to call Rick. Sure. But tell us where we're at.
Well, we're at 13 Caribe Lane on Lake Coronado. Lake Coronado is 380 acre. It's the second largest lake in Hot Springs Village. And we're actually in a really unusual find here. So this is a custom built, was custom built by Castleberry. It's a 3-year-old home. The folks are from Texas and came here and made this their vacation property. And what I like about it is they used really common sense, tasteful touches throughout. So it's light and bright. It's very airy. It was just the two of them. So they said, we really don't need a full basement and therefore creating a 3,000 square foot house. We only need about 2,200 square feet. So they did 1,500 square feet on the main floor. And they actually did a second story where they put the 2 guest bedrooms with 2 full baths upstairs. That gave them the high volume ceilings, and we'll go in and take a look here in just a second. But they also were smart enough to plan ahead, and we'll show you where they planned for if someone did want to finish off the walk-in crawl space, and it has high ceilings in the crawl space. They planned for an interior staircase to be able to maximize that and take a look. So, and take a look at this. I even like what they chose. They did a wood-burning fireplace rather than gas. I always like that crackle of a real fire. And like I said, by doing almost an A-frame, they got the volume that really keeps it light and bright. They tied in newer colors where everything was a real light gray. Over the last 5 or 6 years, they've warmed it up almost, I call it kind of a sandalwood color flooring. It warms it up without going too dark. They did quartz countertops. They did just beautiful choice of everything that they used in here. Of course, it's decorated to the T's as well. But yeah, so this house is 3 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and just shy of 2,200 square feet. It's going to be coming on the market in 2 days. It'll be on the market for the weekend at $699,900. And to your point and your question, we had the professional photography shot today with the drone and all of the interior professional photos. And that gives me about 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours, where I've already had the pictures, while I'm waiting on the pictures to be processed and the virtual tour to be developed. If I've got a buyer that I'm working with, it gives me an opportunity to tell them about it ahead of time. So while this won't be on the market for another 2 days, it is available to people that are working with me. And so to your point, it gives just a little bit of an inside track on listings that might be coming up soon.
I'm sure people are tired of me using the word awesome because I use it way too much, but it is.
It's pretty
I told
awesome.
Rick when we walked in the front door and I showed you the entryway, and really smart, you know, big 3-pane window as you make the entrance. So you're immediately, you don't see a wall. You're looking at the lake. And yeah, they took full advantage. One of the criticisms that you hear, especially of older homes here, people can go look at some lakefront property and it's like, man, why did they put a wall here?
Right.
Why didn't they put, and here we've got double sliding glass doors and yeah, super bright, super light.
And the view from up above looking down is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we'll show you that. Now, he had mentioned future proofing. I'm sure the homeowner, we're not going to open up every closet.
That's okay. So that would be the stairs going down. If you ever wanted to put a basement in to this home, add another 1,000 square feet, say, you would put it right there. That would be your stairs going down underneath where the stairs go up to the upper level. So this has been planned ahead. And you say, well, what about a pantry if you did that? Well, in the guest bathroom, they did an extra.
So this is a half bath, and then off the half bath is...
Right, and this would be storage. Either if this was something like an Airbnb, this could be lockout storage, or I'm going to show you how it could also be a converted laundry area if you went that route. But this could be a pantry. If you took the pantry, made a stairwell there, made this the pantry, and then I'll show you one other possibility on this side as you come into the primary bedroom.
So we've got a half bath in the primary bedroom and the ensuite, obviously. Nice big room.
Yep. Real nice ensuite with a walk-in shower. It's behind the door. You can go ahead and go on in. I'll hit that door in the back, show you what I was talking about.
I'll show you this big walk-in shower.
It's got the little toilet room there. But what they wanted, since it was just the two of them, is they wanted the laundry in the master closet. So this, you do your laundry, get it dried, hang it up. But if you didn't want this, if you wanted to maximize the size of the walk-in closet, you would just flip up to the other side of the wall. The plumbing's there. The washer dryer to that area that we were just in last. So they've made it interchangeable. So if you wanted to expand into a basement later, it's all prepared. They were thinking ahead all the way through the design of the house. It's got high ceilings. Real tasteful color palette. Like I said, it's right out of a magazine. She did a beautiful job decorating.
Yeah. And they would even sell it furnished for a price.
Well, everything's negotiable, Randy.
Exactly. Yeah, they did. I mean, the furnishings are, it's like You're looking at a real house. You're not looking at one that's just staged.
Nope, this is the real deal.
Yeah, and the flooring is a really nice.
I think it's my new favorite.
I like it. It's a grayish brown.
Very
so
versatile.
Could go with anything.
But turn around and
so we've got a
look at that.
Pretty killer landing up here.
Yeah. Looking down at your floating dock, and you're on one of the larger coves off the main body of the lake, so you're tucked away, but there's plenty of depth there. It drops down to 20 feet real quick. And you've got both of the upstairs guest rooms have their own baths, full baths.
So we're facing the front of the house. But a nice sized bedroom. Got a rain shower head. Nice full bath.
And like I said, there's 3.5 bathrooms. So you'll see in the next one, every house has to have a bathtub.
The mechanicals are in this.
That's right. So this one, they put the bathtub in so that...
Yeah, and this one you've got barn door, which all the ladies love.
With organizers, yeah.
Yep. So this one you've got a tub shower combo, like he said. Very nice.
Smartly done.
Yeah. I like it. All right, let's go outside and see if we can't stump the realtor.
Okay.
It's funny, people are sending me questions. I don't think they're trying to stump you, but I guess I'm going to have to name the segment. I started out just kind of as a joke, stump the realtor, but I'm not sure people aren't kind of giving it a go, trying to figure out how.
Actually, as we go out the door, you may want to look up on the hill here. You get some people that ask about view properties, and we do have enough elevation change here, even above the lake. Look at that house up above the...
Oh, yeah.
Up on the hill there.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of view
if
properties.
You look right there.
Yep.
Yeah, they've got a shabby view.
Right.
And Rick told me before we hit record, so those woods that you see directly across, that is common property owned by the POA.
Right.
So
will never be built on.
That will be your view, which is kind of a nice added feature.
And you're facing east here, so you get the sunrise over the lake and then shade like we have now in the afternoon. It's great in the summer.
Yeah, and it's a nice cove. It's a, you know, it's a nice big cove, but
yep. Nice for a barbecue or having friends over on this big...
I should know this. Second largest lake?
Yes, 380 acres.
So we're on the second largest lake behind Balboa.
Yep.
Very nice. All right, I got questions for you, Rick.
All right, shoot.
So we'll put him in the hot seat here.
Okay.
Pull him up on my phone. Based on your experience, what are some of the things you would not do to your house? Things that would not, in your opinion, produce a good return on investment?
This is an interesting question because I just ran into this yesterday. We have a lot of homes that in that crawl space we were talking about, especially when you're around a lake, so water is going to go down to the lake, right? So a lot of crawl spaces have moisture in them, and people just really handle that drainage the wrong way. Some just kind of disregard it and don't worry about it, and then you get mold or mildew, some sort of microorganisms in the growing in your crawl space, and that's not healthy for the air. But I've also seen where people will spend a bundle of money and have encapsulation done to the tune of 10 grand plus to encapsulate the crawl space with that white heavy vinyl, right? But not really deal with the drainage problem itself. And I've seen this where there's still water underneath that. So they didn't deal with guttering properly or the downspouts and tying them in around the house. They didn't, it's a real common floor plan to have from a driveway, a walkway that comes around to the front door, and you have that flower bed right where all of the roof line comes right in the front of the house. Well, all that water's got to go somewhere if it isn't down a downspout. And when we get heavy rain quick, that ends up working its way under the foundation and into the crawl space. You've got to correct the water problem before you do any kind of encapsulation. So to me, encapsulation is a turnoff. Even though once it's done, if it's done correctly, great. But I've seen several with, they still have a sump pump underneath there. To me, I just don't want to deal with the hassles of water. I've been there before. I don't ever plan on going back there again. I want a dry crawl space. So,
and if I were a buyer, I would probably want to make sure I knew how that was done, and
right.
Whatever remediation needed to happen did happen. And
yep. And the problem is once you're completely sealed in, or you've hopefully sealed everything, how do you look underneath? I mean, how can you tell that it's dry on the underneath side of that vinyl? So to me, that's one that you could spend a whole lot of money. The other is the opposites. Instead of under the house is putting gutter guards on. You spend $5 grand putting screens on the top of your gutters. They get clogged with leaves, and then the water runs over the top of them, down the front of your gutters. It defeats the purpose. And I understand people don't want to clean out their gutters, but $5 grand will go a long way to paying Jim Bob, twice a year to come clean your gutters out. Just clean your gutters. I've seen them. Some people swear by them. I think that's a waste of money, and it certainly is rarely, to most buyers that I work with, a plus. I wouldn't list it as an amenity of the house. Wow, this has $5 grand worth of gutter guards on the house. I don't want them on there anyway. So,
can you explain what age in place means? I see houses and builders that mention it.
Age in place.
Age in place. Now, I'll tell you what I know about it.
Okay.
It means a house is built, because I had to look it up. Brandon, who's sponsor of the show, on his website, he's a certified age in place builder. So a house that is built as you get older, it is built for you to age in place, for you to not have to, make a bunch of modifications. Typically, these are houses that are, they're not going to have stairs, they're not going to have steps. Should you in the future be relegated to a walker or a wheelchair, they are mostly, if not altogether, ready for that. So now, there may be other answers to that, but I thought, well, I'll ask Rick.
Well, 18 years in real estate. I go back to the 90s actually, but so that might be a newer term. So ADA compliant, and then it makes.
Well, and I don't know that it's fully ADA compliant. I started seeing this about a year ago, and I started getting questions about it, and I've been meaning to ask Brandon about it. And we'll have a deeper conversation, because it's probably, to be fair, it's probably more of a builder question than a realtor, but good.
But it's a lifestyle.
We may have stumped the realtor.
Yeah, maybe you have, because I do talk to a lot of people that are going into assisted living, and they have kind of an age in place where they're going from independent living to assisted living, and then nursing care, right? Yeah. So that's kind of a transitional. So it sounds like that's maybe a term they're trying to accommodate.
I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, no,
I didn't know it was a thing.
Age in place. That's a new one for me.
I know there are hundreds of neighborhoods in Hot Springs Village. Can you share with us some suggested filters? And what they're talking about is those filters that you and I talked about, as people are kind of trying to figure out, can I get this, can I get that? So they're using your own terminology against you. Can you share with us some suggested filters we might consider when looking for a house based on a neighborhood?
Well, the filters that the buyer is using a third-party website like Zillow?
No, they're talking about those filters that you did when, okay, I want 3-car garage.
Okay.
I want those
Gotcha.
kinds of filters
Right.
that you used.
Right.
That's what they mean.
Kind of funneling down
Correct.
to.
What would be some of those funneled down that based on your experience, as far as I'm thinking about a neighborhood?
Right.
Do you run into that even at all here? See, I think this is a different kind of a place because for most people, it's like we got school-age children. So first and foremost, what are the school systems like? And then if you're like Dallas-Fort Worth, okay, what are my access points? I got a 45-minute commute. If I've got 10 minutes to get to the highway versus 5 to get to the highway, I can cut my commute time dramatically. So I could think of it, but I haven't answered this question, by the way. I owe this person an email, but
part of the reason that it's a little bit different here, so when Cooper did the development originally, there's 250 subdivisions in the village, 250. And he shotgun approached the sale on all of them. So all the lots got sold. And unlike what most developers typically do is release in phases where builders come in and buy those. And so you'd have 50, 60, 100 homes that are all similar to one another in that particular subdivision. You don't see that here because they all got sold to individuals, not builders. And so with that shotgun approach, I think there's pros and cons to it. The biggest pro to me is nothing looks cookie cutter. You don't look like, wow, I can tell that one particular builder built this subdivision because all they did was reverse the driveways. All the houses look the same. We don't have that at all here. The negative is because of that shotgun approach, when all those lots were sold over several years and to individuals, you also have vacant lots and inconsistencies, so that it is difficult now today for someone like Brandon to come in and say, well, I'm ready to build some houses. Well, there's no subdivision to break ground on to build another 50 homes. Got to go and individually find those lots now to build on. So it is different. I like the finished product because I like the uniqueness of the feel here, rather than feeling like it's been a master plan community. It was a planned community, but not like in some of the more urban areas where it was done in phases like that.
yeah, and I'm going to be doing some drives. I promised more than a handful of viewers who want to see some drives through various neighborhoods to give you a feel. But I can tell you, in the neighborhood that we are in right now, so we are on the north-ish side of Lake Coronado, and I don't know. I mean, we could drive 5 minutes either direction, and it looked completely different.
Yeah.
So it's just be forewarned. This is not like it's probably not like anything that you've experienced. If you have not yet visited the village and you haven't seen it, I promise once you come and once you get out, and if you visit, frankly, you could probably just visit one neighborhood, but if you visit at least 2 different neighborhoods, you'll understand how difficult your request is for us to showcase.
Right.
Can you show us the neighborhoods and give us a sense or a feel for it?
Yep.
Because we've said before, you can go on one street and a house that's built slab on grade, another one that's got a crawl space, and another one's got a full-blown basement, and they might be 6 houses apart.
Right. Well, we're talking about over 50 years of building, right?
Yep.
So it broke ground 55 years ago.
Yeah, 55.
So on the west side is very different than the east side.
Right.
And the east side, because we're golf course concentrated, you'll have a little more of that, homogeneous feel.
Yeah.
But very different on the west side.
Okay, question number 4. Tornadoes prevent me from more seriously considering Hot Springs Village. I've never experienced them, and they scare me. Randy says he grew up in Tornado Alley, but I understand you came to Hot Springs Village from the northwest. What advice do you have?
Don't worry about it. we've supposedly had 3 tornadoes in the last 55 years in the village. So 2 the same year, I want to say back in 12 or 14 was 2 that came through the Balboa golf course area, just took some trees down, not a big deal. And then just last year, we had an EF2 that came through, and it took a pretty good swath of trees down. Again, west side, pretty rural part of the village. Yes, there were trees down on some houses, so you saw some blue tarps on roofs for a while, and the POA has done a really nice job of going back through a lot of those areas and continues to do so in phases to kind of clean up those areas. But no injuries, no fatalities in the 55 years of Hot Springs Village due to a tornado. So you can worry about it, but I don't know that there's any place in the south where you would be safe from that. And if you don't come to the south, well, then the entire Midwest is hurricane prone. And if you want to go further south, well, then fine, you're going to get hurricanes instead of tornadoes. So it just really depends on.
Yeah, there's something everywhere.
There's something everywhere. Yeah, tidal wave if you're on the coast, right?
Yeah.
So.
Or earthquakes in California.
Yeah, right.
Number 5, how does the buy-in fee work? Is it paid at closing, or do we have to go through the POA? And as a side note, what is the process of a first-time buyer in dealing with the POA?
Okay. The buy-in fee is $2,000. If you're buying a home and you're a first-time buyer in the village, you'll pay that $2,000 at closing, at closing with the title company, and they will forward that $2,000 to the POA. If you're buying a lot, it's $300, and then you'll pay the other $1,700 when you build. So you don't have to pay the $2,000 on a $5,000 lot if you were to do it that way and then build later. But the process, the POA handles everything in-house. When you make a purchase in the village, you'll make an appointment to meet with them at the POA to get your stickers for your car and bring in your paperwork. They'll set you up if you want auto pay on your utilities and all that. But the POA will handle the communication with you, and they'll set you up with whatever you need.
And I can tell you from our experience, pretty painless process.
Walk in and sit down.
So we closed on our house with Rick, and we were ahead of the buy-in fee, so that didn't apply to us at the time. But we walked into the POA. They ushered us into an office with somebody who specializes in first-time home buyers here inside the village. You don't think like if you're coming from a big city in the DMV and you're going to have to devote half a day. It's not going to be like that.
No, we don't even have to do that at the DMV.
No, it's pretty painless process.
Right.
Okay, last question. I know for homeowners insurance, roofing is a big deal all over the country. Are there a variety of roofing materials used inside Hot Springs Village? We were wondering if metal roofs are common.
They're not common. They are present. I just sold a home, right down the lake here, to some folks that wanted to do a very elaborate metal roof, and they were from Texas. And so it is possible to do those. Most people are going to do, they don't really do a 3-tab anymore. It's an architectural comp roof, and they do have an impact resistant, I think it's called a class 3 roof. And you can sometimes save a little bit on your insurance if you go to that, and it's not a lot more expensive. But as far as going to metal, we don't see it a lot. There are also some unique products that are composite shingles or metal shingles that you can upgrade to. But I mean, you're talking about a lot of dough. You maybe $40,000 or $50,000 for a roof, going up into some of those products. And yes, you may be then able to get a discount with your insurer, but not sure. I've spoken with clients who have had those roofs and swear by them and plan on doing it when they get here, but you just have to plan on that being a pretty significant upgrade.
I appreciate it, Rick. It's it's a beautiful property. And this is one of those cases where, I think last month, the place that we showcased a lot of footage on the water, but this is one that, based on the location and the view, it's got plenty.
Not too hard to take.
But does not need a bunch. Yeah, it's gorgeous. All right, kids. Thanks for watching Hot Springs Village Inside Out. You'll find all our episodes at hotspringsvillageinsideout.com or on YouTube.